What's good guys, Original Dobo, and it's been a little bit since I've done any sort of gimbal related videos, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite accessories for the Ronin SE and how I use this in every single video shoot that I do for my Apex aerial business. Stick around. What's going on everybody? Welcome back. My name's Original Dobo. This channel is all about drone and tech. So if that's your thing, you may want to hit that subscribe button before you leave this video. This is the Ronin SE. I've had it for a couple of months, and this gimbal's so good, I actually, bought a second one. I bought the Pro model so I can have the focus wheel, and also when I'm working with two people running multi-angles, we both have the same setup. I actually run two Ronin SEs, and I also run two A6400s with identical settings. So that way, everything I do is consistent as far as delivery to my client. I started out using a Ronin S, but I felt like the gimbal was just way too heavy to be using it with like the A64 models. And this is a lot less taxing, but it is also a little bit limiting when you compare it to something like the Weebill S or another from Moza. So I've got a couple of accessories laid out here on the table. I'm gonna talk about them, what they do, why I use them, and why it's a good fit for the Ronin SE. So let's start off with the first one, which is probably my favorite. This is a handle from Digital Photo. And basically this handle just mounts on your gimbal, and it mounts really easy, and it mounts easy enough to where you can put it on or off anytime you like. So it just clips here on the front, mounts just under the front piece here. And you gotta be careful with this. You don't wanna scratch anything, but you also don't wanna go too tight with this. And yeah, there it goes. It's nice and snug. And now I have a third grip, or I should say a secondary grip. But what this does is it makes using this in candlestick mode a little bit easier, or what do they call it? Flashlight mode, candlestick mode. Holding this in flashlight mode makes it a little bit easier. So in Florida, we have a lot of in-ground pools, and I always like to get shots coming over the pool deck into the pool, and being able to use this handle makes those shots for me a little bit easier. So that's the Digital Photo single handle grip. Works really well. I'll make sure links in the description below. Now, because I am in Florida a lot and I'm outside, the monitor on the A6400 doesn't get quite as bright enough, so I need a secondary monitor. Now, whether I'm using my Ninja Atmos, which I'm recording into right now, or I'm using something like the Feelworld MA6, this is the MA6F actually. Either or, I will always use a monitor mount. Now this monitor mount here, I'm gonna put this up to the screen here. This is a very cheap generic monitor mount. Let's see if we can get some focus on that. Come on. Anyways, I'll make sure it's in the B-roll, but so this monitor mount works really well, and it almost looks like the Polar Pro monitor mount, except for this is only 20 bucks. Works incredibly well. It's screwed into the side of the gimbal like so. And there's little locks to where the different positions are. So you never have to worry about your monitor going flailing, and I can just sort of angle it to whatever position I need, and it's going to lock firmly in place. Now, if I take my MA6F, I'm just gonna screw this into here. And this is a really light monitor. That's why I like to use this primarily with the Ronin SE. It keeps everything really light. And there you go. Now I have a monitor mount on there. So you can sort of see this kit is sort of building out. And again, with this mount, you can sort of turn this in any which way you want, and then it locks into place. But for 20 bucks, you can't beat it. Another thing I really like about this mount here specifically is the fact there is a cold shoe mount. That way I can mount like my audio. If I'm running auxiliary audio, I can mount it here versus having something else on the camera to where it will mess up the balance. And the last piece of kit that I like to use for my Ronin SE setup is a simple Arca Swiss mount. Now this thing saves me a lot of time balancing, and it just looks just like that. Really super simple, Arca Swiss. I think this was like 12 bucks on Amazon. I'll be sure to include the exact one I have. But anyways, let me go ahead and mount this back up here onto my SE. And I've got the whole kit broken apart here now. So let's go ahead and put that in. So that slides in like so. And what this does is just makes balancing the camera a little bit easier. Now, depending on what you do, like I have a Benro mount because I use Benro tripods, and this is a great Arca Swiss mount. But this is for my tripod. The other camera that I'm actually recording on right now, the small rig cage actually has an Arca Swiss plate built into it, so you don't actually have to have a secondary Swiss plate on it. So I'll also include a link to that down below, because I like the idea of the small rig cases having a Arca Swiss plate already on there. That way I don't have to add anything additional and raise the height of the camera. So this isn't totally ideal, but this gives you a good idea of how easy it is to balance. So I'm just gonna quickly mount my camera on here, and then I'm gonna lock the Swiss plate first, and you can see my front balance is off, and I'm just going to simply balance it to where it doesn't flip over, and then just lock this into place. Really easy. I'm not a big fan of the way the SEs balance, but I mean, I guess it's the best they can do with the space they have here. I don't know. So let's see, that's almost balanced. Perfect. So that's perfectly balanced there. And then we'll test this balance, and cool, we're good there. Yeah, this should be plugged into the camera to prevent other balance off, but there we go. All right, so now let's see if it's balanced side to side, which it's not. You see that? It's not. So I can actually just take my Arca Swiss plate, slide the camera over until it is balanced. And it's so much easier to be able to work with the balance if you were just using a Swiss plate. And you can see it's pretty much dead nuts now. And there we go. So that's it. Bam. So that's how easy it is if you put an Arca Swiss plate on your Ronin SE. I've been using this whole rig for probably over 3.5 months now, and I haven't had any issues with it. I know this was a really quick and dirty video, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you a little bit about how I'm using the SE, because I still find this to be the best gimbal. It's literally the most hassle-free gimbal I've used all year. I don't have to like dial in any crazy, configurations or plus mess with the deadband all that much or do anything really. It's just really great out of the box. And yeah, been really happy with it. So if you have any questions about any of this gear that I'm talking about here in this video, drop me down a comment below. I'll be happy to answer your questions. But as always, stay original.